Hey everybody, it's Party Elite with the Beginner's Guide to Total War Warhammer. The Total War games have been, for as long as my memory serves, a camouflaged rock-paper-scissors game when it comes to battles. While that might sound simple and even dumbed down, it actually gets to be quite complex when you get into the nitty-gritty. While rock-paper-scissors implies hard counters, this isn't necessarily the case because of other factors that come into play: flanking, morale, rank, etc. For this video, let's ignore unit types that are unique to the Warhammer universe, giants, trolls, and other monsters and beasts. They don't quite fall into this rock-paper-scissors world, and I'll give them a closer look in a later video. We will, however, start with another outlier: sword and axe infantry. They don't fit a rock-paper-scissors role, but act more as a sort of glue to hold everything else together. They come in many formats: heavy, light, sword, axe, etc. They are, as a whole, average against other unit types. They have no specific strengths when it comes to battle, and having an infantry-heavy army keeps you balanced, but it can result in issues if you keep getting charged down by cavalry or while being pelted by arrows. The sword and axe infantry are great for holding enemy units in place for a nice flanking maneuver as well. Now consider the spearmen. They've got a greater reach with their weapons, and if you've seen, say, Braveheart or any war movie that reenacts spearmen versus cavalry, you'll know exactly how this tends to go down. Spearmen destroy cavalry, especially if charged into head-on. However, since they're typically lightly armored, they are easily put down by archers. So if you find yourself facing a bunch of spearmen, pepper them with arrows, hold them with infantry, and flank them with cavalry. Job well done. Onwards to cavalry. As we discussed literally moments earlier, they are weak against spears and should never be used to charge spears head-on. Don't do it. The strength of cavalry lies in their charges, and especially when targeting ranged units, archers, crossbowmen, and the like. With a superior speed, cavalry can disperse and chase down these lightly armored, fast-on-their-feet units and wreck their day. This also works to disperse artillery unit operators, effectively destroying artillery pieces. Use cavalry to keep enemy ranged units busy running around. Cavalry charges are especially powerful when they come in from the flanks, and this is the one case where you can use cavalry against spearmen. It's risky, but the reward can be worth the loss of lives. Flanking spearmen can cause them to break, and when morale is low, so is the quality of fighting. And when morale is really low, there is no fighting. And finally, ranged units. Artillery are obviously morale damaging and great against anything they can hit, but as we learned earlier, archers and the like are best against lightly armored units like spearmen. They can thin numbers of any unit type well before they arrive at your front lines, but they need to be very wary of enemy cavalry. You can force them to engage in melee, which may be a worthwhile sacrifice, especially if they're out of ammunition, but that's basically a death sentence. Sometimes, though, it can help you set up a flanking maneuver for the greater good of your empire. As I mentioned, this rock-paper-scissors model is just a foundation, and there are plenty of nuances that modify how things actually play out. Outside other mechanics like morale, rank, positioning, etc., there are further details like unit variance. Shock cavalry and regular cavalry should be used differently, for example, but I'll go over all these finer details in a later video. So at the core, while this overarching system sounds simple, it actually gets very in-depth and intricate very fast. Where it's important to keep this hierarchy in mind is in making macro-scale decisions. Much relies on making snap decisions after understanding the situation in the battle at the moment, and that's what being a great general is about. For more tips and tricks, subscribe to this channel, and if there's something you'd like to see covered, let me know in the comments below.